Okay. You know one thing we really need in Kingdom Hearts 4? We really need Kingdom Hearts and High School Musical.
Huh?
Listen, hear me out. I know many people have hatred for musical worlds in Kingdom Hearts, and we just came off Melody of Memory. But look, just look at this video right quick.
Hey, maybe Riku's with them.
Like, you don't want to see Sora doing "We're all in this together" with the gang. This is like my biggest Kingdom Hearts 4 video, and I really want to put some love into what I would love to see for the future of Kingdom Hearts 4, but not only that, also the future of the series. Think of this video as a wish list, and instead of beating around the bush anymore, let's talk about the first thing I wanted to see. Let's get the controversial stuff out the way. Better story pacing. Like I stated in my previous video, I love Kingdom Hearts 3 story structure, but I can also see the various flaws why people dislike it. I've seen people say it's like 80% Disney with sprinkles of Cage lore, and then the last 20% is just everything Kingdom Hearts. Even though I personally enjoy the game focusing on Disney aspects heavier, honestly, first than the main meat and potatoes, you know, it feels too commercial in some aspects. Like, have you ever been to a restaurant and you get appetizers, you know, a main dish, then dessert? In KH3, I can see why many feel like you get a lot of dessert, then get appetizer, split into pieces until your main dish is done, which would be crazy. And that's how KH3 comes off to some people. However, I know Disney IPs and rules and regulations don't really want them messing with the stories like that for films like Frozen. So I would suggest, if possible, incorporating more Kingdom Hearts story elements into the Disney worlds again. If you want an example of a world I think is golden in KH3, I personally think Toy Box, aka the Toy Story world, was really good at this. At the end of the day, stories are subjective to the person consuming it, but I do feel like we could have gotten more KH in between or with the Disney stuff, even though I thoroughly did enjoy it. Oh, another thing, apparently people dislike the Sora writing in the game. I guess I'm a contrarian here because I think it's pretty good. For Sora to go through losing Marker Master Exam and Dream Drop Distance versus finding his power again, or trying to find his power awakened again through KH3, I think Sora in the story is supposed to be vulnerable and weak, and he kind of lost a lot of power along his way. I think it's really important to have a character feel very vulnerable in an ongoing game series like this. You gotta realize that these are longer games, so seeing Sora like this now may be a hurdle that you may not like, but we might get back to the badass in Kingdom Hearts 4. This goes to my next point. Make Riku great again. This is one of my main gripes with Kingdom Hearts 3. Legit, how is Riku 10 times cooler in Dream Drop Distance than KH3? Warning, this is a rant from the heart. Like, how does Aqua, who was trapped in the realm of darkness, come off cooler than Riku? Bring back long hair Riku. Then we have Resort, and I'm like, listen, this man is cooler than him in less than 10 minutes of the cutscene in the DLC than the full game with Riku. Now we go to the next big one. Is Disney Worlds in Kingdom Hearts 4. Remember how I said earlier in the video that this is the last Kingdom Hearts 4 video? Yeah, I lied. Don't worry. I might make a whole specific video on worlds in the future. So here comes the Yaya theory time. That might be 100% wrong later. So I have a theory that the game is going to be split into two parts. That Donald and Goofy are going to hop around different Disney worlds looking for Sora, but I think either Riku or Kyra are going with Donald and Goofy. I think the whole game will be Sora and Quadratum, then I would think world searching for Sora will be with the others. So what if they are traveling worlds that look like Quadratum, but not really it being that at all? So I 100% would love the idea of like places like Lilo and Stitch, but actually Hanapepe Kauai, you know, Hawaii for short. I could also see Treasure Planet finally getting a world in Kingdom Hearts 4, like it's long overdue. And you might as well add it if Star Wars is speculated to be in the game at this point. Also, they could bring the skateboard back that everybody wants, but repurpose it for Treasure Planet. I think 100% Atlantis would be hilarious, but at the same time, I just think nobody likes underwater mechanics in Kingdom Hearts games. So we just gonna throw that idea away, even though I did have a problem with it in KH3. Also, my favorite Disney movie in the past decade has to be Moana, so it's about time they put that in Kingdom Hearts. If you want a full breakdown wish list on the top 5 worlds I would love to see in KH4, hit the like button and also subscribe. Go ahead and do it. I will do it for you. Now next is the gameplay elements. This is something that I really want to see different in Kingdom Hearts 4. Hot take though, hot take time. Gummi ships need to change or go. This is minor, and I personally think Kingdom Hearts 3 made them pretty unique with the open world, open map elements. So I think it's time for Square Enix to experience something new with Gummi ships. I know Kingdom Hearts has had a history going too far out there and experimenting too much for my liking. Even though I loved it, I would like to see something different. Alright, just bring this back. Another thing I would like to see changed, or what Kingdom Hearts needs to get rid of, is attraction flow needs to be reworked. So okay, Square, just make it where you have to hit 2 buttons to activate it and not just tied to the same place above the command menu and the same button. If I'm not mistaken, BBS on PSP had you hit L1 and R1 regardless, unless it's another character with Donald and Goofy, and we'll see in the trailer. I have a hard time seeing attraction flow returning right now because we don't know if Sora's going to reunite with Donald and Goofy, or if that's going to just be something that everybody could do at this point. So I don't know. Also, I just realized the touchpad is not used in Kingdom Hearts 3, I believe. If it is, I don't remember what it was used for, and I just played it like a week ago. So just use the touchpad. I know that might be annoying for other platforms, but make them hit 2 buttons. Get on PlayStation. And the last thing I would like to see in Kingdom Hearts 4, Final Fantasy cameos returning in Kingdom Hearts. Everybody has been speculating about Cloud and Sephiroth returning in. And alright, this has to be the biggest controversial polarizing issue with Kingdom Hearts 3. Many fans feel like, why is there no Sephiroth or Final Fantasy 7 inclusion in Kingdom Hearts 3? Other Kingdom Hearts fan as myself is like, yo, I want the Final Fantasy characters 100%. Kingdom Hearts don't need Final Fantasy to be appealing anymore. I feel like if you're a fan of this series at this point and played all these games, like, you're probably more so there for the Kingdom Hearts story than just Final Fantasy. But that's just how I feel, right? At the end of the day, I sat down and thought about it. We need Sephiroth back for a 3rd time. We need that final boss battle that we didn't get in KH3. If they don't want to use any Final Fantasy 7 characters again, I would love to see Lightning or Noctis in the game. Even though I feel like Kingdom Hearts as a series can stand alone without Final Fantasy, I came to realize that Kingdom Hearts' big appeal to many older fans in the 2000s was Disney, but more importantly, for a lot of people coming up from that time, from the PlayStation 1 era, Final Fantasy 7. I think it will be a perfect time to actually try to incorporate Final Fantasy 7 remake elements into Kingdom Hearts 3. That might irk some people because they're like, wait, what is this? But come on, as long as you got your Final Fantasy characters, the lore in the game again, I'm happy. I don't need all that. I don't need a comprehensive story, man. I just want them to be a part of the game again, how it made me feel in Kingdom Hearts 2 and Squall pissing me off in that boss fight in KH1. And also, we already know they're bringing back the one mechanic I truly love about Kingdom Hearts. The reaction commands are coming back, so I ain't got to complain about that, because I feel like that added a flair to the boss battles in a lot of ways that you traverse. Kingdom Hearts 3 don't really have that, you know? Like, they built it into the gameplay of some bosses, and then there's some bosses that don't do nothing at all. Like, you got the Ice Titan that's pretty dope, then you got, like, probably the ending with Xehanort, if I could think of it, and there's probably something else in between, but I can't really think of no other boss battle that does something that dynamically cool, unless it's a Disney World gimmick, but then you gotta fight the boss normally, or it has some weird thing around it. I don't know, I just feel like reaction commands is pretty much the main thing I would want. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, what would you like to see in Kingdom Hearts 4? What is something that you're wishing for the future of Kingdom Hearts? Comment down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell and notifications. And remember, you guys are golden and that is raw. Squalla, peace, and I'm out.
I've been the devil, I need me a arc in the heart. Am I breathing? I feel like Tanjiro. Walking this bitch with a sound pack, so I'll let you rock it. I keep me a domino. Bitch, on my dick, man, I feel like Kazaki. Stretching that pussy out like it's Pilates. I'm snatching the soul like right out of a body. Fire, I'm spitting, I'm feeling like Dobby. White bitch, blonde hair, looking like Lucy. She from Kyoshi, I paint her face Suki.